Do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law. Frater Oz again. I'm back. Tooth is still hurting a little bit, but I really appreciate you guys being patient with me while I was getting taken care of. I apologize if I'm still talking a little bit funny. I did get it pulled, and it's on the mend, okay? I wanted to make a video today on the subject of mindfulness, of staying mindful of the great work, of the pursuit of your will, okay? Before we get started, got a couple things I'd like to say. First of all, hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave me a comment below if you're new to the channel, okay? Consider joining our Patreon to help support the channel moving forward. There are t-shirts underneath the video and a link in the description to that as well. It's another way you can support the channel. And something I haven't mentioned before, but that is in the description, is a Facebook group that I have called Land of Oz, where you guys can join and talk amongst yourselves in there. I don't post a whole lot in there, but I do like post in advance for live streams and stuff like that as best as I can. So check it out. And then also I wanted to say that I got a message from EIO 131 the other day, and he created a video where he goes through a couple of different performances of the Star Ruby, mine being one of them, and he calls it a reaction video. It's kind of a critique, discussion of the Star Ruby to a certain extent, and so you guys should go check that out. You should also, if you're not subscribed to his channel over there, you should consider doing that. It's Thelemic Union. Just type that into the search bar, Thelemic Union, and you'll find his channel. EIO 131 and I go way back. We've worked on several projects together over the years. He's a really knowledgeable Thelemite. When it comes to technical aspects and stuff, he knows more than I do. And, you know, it's a good channel for you guys to subscribe to. He doesn't put out a whole lot of content, but what is there is really good. And Thelemic Union is also a website that puts out articles and stuff. He has a 120-day course that you can purchase to get you started on practicing Thelemic magic. And I haven't seen the material, but I know him well, and I would trust that the material is really good in that course. So consider going over there and showing him some love. Maybe buy some of his books, or subscribe to his channel. And if you're watching, thanks for making the video. I appreciate it. I enjoyed your discussion of the rituals. Okay, so back to our topic. I wanted to talk today about mindfulness. Okay, so we've talked a lot about how I think that a lot of the practices are designed to train the body and the mind to conform to the will, okay? Well, there are a lot of the practices also that are designed for mindfulness. And although, like, let's just take Resh for an example, Liber Resh. There's a video on my channel from years ago of me reading Liber Resh and performing it to help people, and I've had many people over the years that said that that was instrumental for them throughout the years, okay? But anyway, Liber Resh has always, to me, been more about mindfulness than it is about anything else. I mean, you could say that it's identifying with the sun and all that, and these are positive things, but the fact is that performing this at basically 6-hour intervals doesn't leave you a whole bunch of time in between to forget about your pursuit of your will and the great work. And so it keeps you in this zone and keeps you mindful of the great work. And the same is true of the Thelemic Eucharist. Crowley was a big proponent of performing a daily Eucharist. This Eucharist, a Eucharist in Thelema is basically placing an intention of some kind into a food item and then consuming that item, okay? And Crowley was a big proponent of doing this every day. And he even said in some places that he thought the Thelemic Eucharist was probably the most important thing for you to be doing every day, because it's basically placing God into a piece of food and consuming that to then transform yourself into a God. But at any rate, this is another of these daily practices that's done multiple times a day that keeps you mindful of the great work, keeps it in your mind, doesn't let you forget about it, okay? Also, the Mass of the Phoenix. It's a Eucharist, so Crowley thought that it should be performed daily. That's something that we could discuss. But the reality is that the Mass of the Phoenix, for most people, is not really realistic to perform that every day as your Eucharist. So there is also what's called saying will. Will over meat, saying will before meals, okay? It's kind of like the Thelemic form of saying grace. You're placing this intention into the food and consuming it. And so that, either saying will during the Mass of the Phoenix, going to agnostic Mass, these are all forms of the Eucharist. And you should consider doing this daily in some form or another. So resh and will are both practices that keep us mindful and keep us in this zone of pursuing our will. And that's what it's all about, is keeping that in the back of your mind so that you can more effectively always be conscious of your actions toward pursuing your will, toward progressing up the tree, toward spiritual attainment, etc., etc. Another practice that can be useful toward mindfulness is the magical journal or journaling. This is something that you do on a daily to semi-daily basis that keeps you mindful and also keeps you somewhat scientific if you're doing it correctly and journaling in an objective way. This is another practice that keeps you mindful of the great work. Now, many Thelemites have a daily regimen of just rituals, not necessarily only resh and will, but of, say, the star ruby, Liber Reguli, these rituals that they may perform on a daily basis, meditation, asana, these types of things. And these things are supposed to be journaled. And so all of these things in combination, when you begin to bring these into your practice, keep you in this constant state of mindfulness, this constant state of always considering how your actions affect your great work. Do they help you toward the accomplishment of your will? Do they make you stray from the accomplishment of your will? And making these decisions on a moment-to-moment basis is what keeps you focused on your will, and mindfulness is a big part of that. So I wanted to make a video to talk about those ways that you can keep yourself mindful. If you're not doing things multiple times throughout the day, many people can find that they stray and they forget about it and do things that aren't necessarily helping their will, okay? Some people are naturally focused individuals who may not necessarily need all of these mindfulness practices, at least not for that purpose. But most people do have a hard time staying focused in on their will and staying focused in on Thelema. For myself, after performing these practices for years, at a certain point I came to a point where I felt like I needed the opposite. I needed to not focus so much on it. I was focusing on Thelema basically to the detriment of the rest of my life, and it wasn't really constructive for me. And that was the point where I started to really not be doing daily practices. And I don't know, it's different for everyone, y'all, but for me, like, I was so heavily focused on Thelema only for many years that I neglected other parts of my life. And I'm still feeling the effects of that today, and although I don't regret the years that I spent hyper-focused on it, I do wish that I would have maintained more balance in other areas of my life with it. And so that's something that you should also just consider, is to, you want to be mindful of the great work. You want to be mindful of efficiently and effectively pursuing your will, but at the same time you want to maintain balance. You don't want to neglect other important portions of your life and wake up one morning and realize that you really fucked up. So just maintain a balance and choose some of these practices to maintain that state of mindfulness, and you'll do fine. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some use out of it. Again, I want you to go check out Thelemic Union. Go check it out. Consider subscribing. EO131's a cool dude, and he could very well be helpful for you on your journey. Okay, hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave me a comment below, and consider supporting the channel by joining the Patreon, buying a t-shirt or something, or just continue to watch the videos. I appreciate your support, and thanks for watching. Love is the law. Love under will.